All right. We are the Tendys on Pattison. I am Jack, joined today by Chris and Paul. We're here to talk Flyers, even though there's not much going on in Flyers land. We're going to talk about some other stuff, but hockey's a little dry right now. So we're at the end, free agency, the wildness of free agency has settled a bit. So one thing I did want to talk about Flyers wise, and then we'll move on to the other stuff we want to hit, is the Flyers go to a club initiated arbitration with Sanheim. Not common. Normally arbitration is filed by the player.
Yep. And the player can choose a 1 or 2 year deal with whatever he's awarded. If it gets to that point, now to clarify, they can still come to an agreement in the meantime. But yeah, generally the team does not initiate this. Generally, it's the team lowballing the player, and the player taking it to arbitration. So it was a bit odd, I guess. But I have a feeling they'll end up coming to an agreement before that.
It seems to me like in this instance they feel like they offered him a fair deal, and that they don't think that they're that close, but. We'll see, and we haven't heard anything on Hart.
No, it just could be just a matter of time. I mean, I don't see why. I don't see that it would be if there was major issues. I'm sure it would leak out. I don't think the Flyers have the tightest ship in the world.
And surprising, unsurprising. I just feel like the RFA system is broken because you just don't see any offer sheets really happen.
No, it just comes down to GMs having the balls to do it. Because it's a big good old boys network, and they're afraid to do it because they also don't want it thrown their way at some point either. The last one we had, I think, was Sebastian Aho. And to be honest, like the players that are worth it, those teams are going to match. So, and it's hefty prices to pay. I mean, like 4 first-round picks. I mean, like you saw the city freak out over 1 first-rounder in a terrible screwed up year for a defenseman everyone hates until he, clobbers some Penguin, and then everyone's going to love him. Then they'll hate him when he turns the puck over, at least to a goal. But like it's hefty prices, and the money, like you're just a lot of term, a lot of money, and a lot of cost to do it.
I mean, the time that I can think of, an offer wasn't Chris Gratton.
You would get before then. Shea Weber was a RFA.
Was it they would give up? Was it still 4 first-round picks?
Well, Gratton would have been way before.
Yeah, Weber. there was no system like this back then. But
with Gratton, it was 4 first-round picks, and I'm sorry, we all know what Gratton is.
Yeah, but that was Weber was after.
Yeah, Weber
was way after.
The thing with Weber was the fact that Nashville didn't necessarily have the money for it, and there was a lot of talk because Nashville was just getting good, and if I remember right, they had to all their season ticket money that year had to go to Weber because
he basically was an owner of the team.
Yeah, because I forget the exact details, but the amount of money he made that first year, the Flyers front loaded it because they wanted to basically force Nashville's hand that basically bankrupt them, and Nashville had to do it. They couldn't let Weber walk, and
I mean, you got to feel Weber went down. You think Weber went down to the concession stands after every game and was like, "I need to till."
No, when he's begging out
he
money.
Was basically
he's sending someone.
He was basically like the town when they hit the Red Sox ballpark.
Yeah,
just walking out with bags of cash from underground,
or like the Peaky Blinders. Yeah, I remember that. That set the league on fire that year. That was craziness. But I mean, then the closest the other one was, like I said, Sebastian Aho, and like Carolina, they're not hurting for money. The Canadians needed a center, and they thought that was their best chance at getting one.
So that's really all the news the Flyers have going on right now. I think if you were to ask me today in August 5th, we're still wondering what's going to happen with the third line. But I don't know that we're going to have much clarity until they get into the preseason.
Yeah, no, that's when it's going to show, whether it's Lawton playing as a 3C or Frost or someone else. If there's always a possibility they sign a veteran to a PTO contract. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. The jersey and seal it down. It's true. It's true. That is true.
Billy, I would say you would be able to get that jersey relettered, but I don't know that anyone will be wearing 53 anytime soon.
Well, I mean, I can strip the numbers. The problem is you're replacing a 4-foot long nameplate. And
well, Ristolainen's pretty long, isn't it?
Yeah, but you're replacing a 70. You're replacing a 53. You're replacing a 53 with a 70. So like the 7's not really you're gonna have some marks, but it'll be. And if you want to draw the ire of some fans in the stands, especially if he turns the puck over and leads to a goal against, you might get some popcorn thrown at you if you're wearing a Risto jersey.
So since we're the Tendys, we would be remiss not to discuss Marc-Andre Fleury.
Yeah, that was crazy. So obviously Vegas was shopping both him and Leonard, but it's obvious Leonard's their guy. I mean, they traded for him and then signed Leonard to an extension last year, and it's not a well-kept secret that Peter DeBoer favors Leonard, which made some of his decisions in the conference finals that much more dumbfounding. But so they told in the exit interviews, McCrimmon, the Vegas GM, told Fleury that they're trying to trade him. What I think, so what ends up happening, he gets traded to Chicago, and not only does Fleury not want to go to Chicago, he doesn't really want to pick up and move his family. He only has 1 year left in his deal, but he finds out via Twitter before getting a call from McCrimmon, and that pisses everyone off. Everyone's waiting for Fleury's agent Alan Walsh to tweet out another picture with maybe a second sword, maybe this one going through his face or something. But he took the high road on that, or I guess felt that his tweet, last year was more than enough. But anyway, so he finds out via Twitter, which pisses him off even more. Basically, Chicago gives up nothing for him. It's a low-end minor leaguer because you're just trying to get rid of the cap. And apparently, the Vegas owner was not thrilled with it. They did not want him to trade Fleury. But I mean, at the end of the day, you have a salary cap to juggle, and a GM and a coach, they have to make the decisions what they think is going to give them the best opportunity to win. And if trading Fleury to free up cap room to potentially get some scoring depth, that's what they're going to do. But if they don't sign anyone, like at the end of the day, you pretty much have the same team coming back, a couple new pieces, but you're weaker in net. I mean, Leonard's still there, but you replace Fleury with Bourgeois from Winnipeg. I mean, that's a severe downgrade. You're replacing the Vezina winner with a backup that's never played more than 21 games. I mean, that's
Vegas has spent a lot of money, like in the last 2 years. Well, not let's not say this year, but like the previous 2 years, right? They gave Pietrangelo a lot of money, and they gave Stone a good amount of money too, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to bring them up now, but they're right at the top of the heap. Hold on 1 second. They have 0 cap space, even with moving Fleury. They literally have no cap space right now. They picked up Dadonov, which gives them a little scoring depth, but still, like, your first line center is still Chandler Stevenson.
Oh, don't worry, it's going to be Nolan Patrick.
Yep. I mean, they're good. They're a good two-way team, but like at the end of the day, they couldn't score enough, and it's not like Price stole the conference finals. Like, he was good, but Montreal they controlled the play. Like, I expected them to do a little bit more up front. Like I said, I like the Dadonov trade. I mean, he's still making 5. I didn't realize he was 32, but they brought Jan Mark back. They lost their identity a little bit. They traded away Ryan Reeves. So it changes their identity line is what I think what they called it. So it'll be a different team. I mean, guys have to step up. They're going to be good in the regular season again. They have to get over the hump.
They got Nolan Patrick. He's going to have 30 goals and 20 assists. He's going to be a 50-point scorer.
I'm not going to sit here and chirp him because I know I can look in the past and I can see plenty of times we've jettisoned a player off and he's gone on to do really well.
Paul, I think that I don't want to speak for Chris, but I think when I'm ribbing here, I don't mind if Nolan Patrick goes and be what we thought he was at the second pick. I'm happy for him. This isn't me saying he's terrible. It's more or less his time here was done, and then it's just another thing for Flyers fans to be miserable about. Yep. That's more or less what I'm saying is he's going to have 100 points next season, just so the Flyers fans can be miserable about it. He wasn't going to have 100 points here ever. It doesn't matter.
Like we said in the group text, I said the Flyers could get to the Stanley Cup Finals, lose in 7 games, and first thing Flyers will say is, "Well, if we had Nolan Patrick, we would have won the cup." That's more or less what it comes down to. It's
now if we had Shane Goss to spare, or it's going to be someone. Someone's going to have a halfway decent year, just like on SportsCenter for the Sixers, Markelle Fultz had 2 dunks, and it was we should never give up on this kid. That's just the way the city is.
Assuming the Flyers lose at some point in the playoffs, because I'm not predicting them to win the cup because I would never do such a thing. So when they lose, the power play is going to go cold in the last 2 or 3 games, and people are going to say, "Well, we had our power play guy, and we traded him away for we paid another team to take him." That's what's going to happen, guaranteed.
Oh, 100%. Our quarterback is gone.
the whole comebacks video, Chris, that you've shared on Facebook, which stop being so private. You got to put that stuff, make that stuff shareable.
It should be
so annoying. But yeah, Mr. Paper Mache Wentz. But yeah, it's we always get screwed in the end. We always get screwed. But
you know what? I said this on a couple people's podcasts. I commented, I just about the Wentz injury. That's supposedly a common injury. I've read up on it. I actually rebroke my foot in 2008, and when I went to the hospital, the doctor's like, "Yeah, you rebroke your foot." I said, "Well, when did I break it originally?" He's like, "Well, the way it is, he's like, it looks like a sports injury, so you could have broken it either playing basketball or football." And before I hurt my knees, I was always a tackle football guy, and I always played basketball. So he's like, it's common. It just doesn't heal right. And then eventually, when you re-break it, it's worse than when you actually broke it the first time because the bone doesn't heal correctly, and it can pop out of your skin. So it's crazy that this actually happened to a guy that we're depending on for a first-round pick, which, I hate when we depend on other teams for picks. I think it's stupid, but I'm just saying. I'm not saying I'm an NFL doctor and everything, but I'm just saying it's supposedly a common injury.
Well, his lineman had the same injury that week.
Which is just
Same
crazy.
injury. So
He's an old teammate. He's bringing down injuries with everyone.
Secondly, there again, not much. But not much going on in the NHL. But Evander Kane had some allegations thrown against him by his estranged wife. They're not divorced yet, are they?
Soon, in his words, soon to be ex-wife.
So we'll say estranged. They're not living together currently, but they're not divorced yet.
Yes.
So she claims he's a bad father, but also claims that he gambles on his own games.
She also claimed that he would throw games, which a winger can't throw games in the NHL. Like a center can't. A defenseman can't really throw a game because, unless you're losing 9-0, the coaches are going to eventually stop putting you out there. And then, so the only position is really
Unless
a goalie.
you're a flyer.
Yeah,
I'm playing Rangers.
Yeah. Because Sanheim and Myers were each a -6 in that game, if I remember right.
The fact that you remember it is just comical.
I watched every goddamn goal, Chris.
And the fact that you didn't do drugs or drink is pretty damn impressive.
So, the only position that could throw a game is the goalie, and even that has its limits. But if he, I'll take on. Well, if you were betting on Sharks games, you have some major goddamn problems.
I'm going to keep that comment.
Oh, you mean the guy who bets on Russian table tennis? I've done it, so I'm not even gonna front. But me and Bill bet on Russian table tennis.
I hate gambling. I just hate the feeling of losing too much. So, this is so ironic because it's coming off of his best individual season of his career, and a lot of teams would even tell, a lot of players around the league would tell you he was this was his most consistent year in terms of effort and in terms of production of his career for her now to come out saying that he was throwing games. I don't believe that at all. That being said, I think it's well within the realm of possibility that he was betting on hockey and that he was gambling on his own team. They've been throwing games, but in a completely different way by not
Maybe
being
not on purpose.
Yeah. So
what are your thoughts on him gambling? Just take away him gambling. Just say he didn't bet on his own team, but he bet on other teams. What are your thoughts?
The general rule of thumb is you don't bet the sport you play.
Is it in the NHLPA for that? I would assume it has to be some kind of wording in there
about not gambling on hockey.
Yes.
Yeah, you're not allowed.
Well, so now they have to prove it.
Well, it's in a well, prove that he did it. Yeah,
right.
I mean, it's going to be clearly written on the CBA. What I don't know is, can you? Damn, Evander Kane's not going to go to the Hall of Fame. Shit. But
Evander Hustle.
Yeah, I see both sides to not be the whole gambling thing in terms of gambling, period. I understand that as long as you're not gambling in your own sport, it's okay. That being said, if you're gambling on the other sports, what's going to stop you from gambling on your own? So I don't know. I mean, if I was Gary Bettman, I mean, this would never get passed ever in a million years, but I would not want my players gambling at all because it's a slippery slope. And you can get, especially when you're a professional player, like you can get insider information. You can get, information from players from the other sports because they're millionaires. They all hang out together. Like that's just what happens. So that's the whole point because insider trading, like it's the same thing.
Right. You have a better chance of controlling the over and under than you do of actually winning the game.
Correct.
Like it depends on how hard you play. Like if Evander Kane took like plays off, like he was just like on a lazy line change, like that is how the over and unders can be controlled. Because I personally, I don't think he bet on his team to actually win. It's hockey's hard to bet on.
I would say so. Look, his past is not good. I mean, he posted a picture years ago of him holding the cash when he was out in Vegas gambling on Thrashers games, probably because I think he was in Atlanta. But he clearly has had some questionable moments, of course. So I don't put it past him to do questionable stuff. But it's such there's a double-edged sword. I don't think he should be gambling. And it's funny on Twitter that people were talking that, well, the Sharks are going to try to get something for him. Who the hell is trading for a landmine, basically? Who's trading?
You're going to get Tom Brady's broken cell phone. That's what you're going to get for him. Like you're not getting what you can get an 18th round pick if there's even 18 rounds in the draft. You're not getting anything for Evander Kane. You might get a bag of pucks and a couple hockey sticks. Other than that, you ain't getting anything else. And I don't even know.
You're not getting a good hockey stick.
You're not getting anything because no team is taking that salary on.
So I guess where we live in today's day and age, where like every state, for the most part, you can
5 first-round picks for 3 go to Houston for Watson and 2 go to San Jose for Kane.
Sounds good to me.
But the ability to bet isn't just, it's just so easy. It's not done in an underground seedy location anymore either. Like it's a different era, and I like he can't get caught betting on hockey. Like that just can't happen. But I also would hope that he's
smart enough not to use DraftKings or FanDuel. Like I can look at my phone.
Let your friend bet for you. Like
you would think he'd be smart enough to give money to someone he knows to go gamble for him.
Yes.
You would think he'd be smart enough for that.
And has enough money too.
Chris Carter always said, have one guy in your clique who will be that fall guy, and you just pay him a lot of money. Like he's the guy who's, and this is Chris Carter, a Hall of Fame football player, who said, have that guy in your clique who will take the fall for you, and just make.
Yeah, but that's also why you get released.
We got released because he was a drug addict.
He got released. His career got saved. I mean,
well, that's what I mean. Like, it's the best thing for him. Like, and he cleaned up, and he ended up being one of the best players. It's a great Hall of Famer. He's a great story. He fell into that, the situation of drugs, and Buddy Ryan saved his life. But he always told these rookies coming up, like these Randy Mosses and all that. He's like, have a guy who will take that fall for you. But you make sure you compensate him well, because you don't want your information out there.
The whole reason he's in a situation, like we were texting about, when this came out, like take care of your wife. Make sure she's even like whatever the relationship status is, it is what it is. But make sure she's taken care of, both financially, and everything's in the up and up. It would be it's going to be screwed up if he really did gamble away so much of his money, because I mean he's made over $50 million. I got to look it up. I think he's made over 50 million.
Yeah, and if he's not taking care of it, does he have a kid?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's not that's a disgrace if he's not doing that.
Career earnings basically $56 million so far, and he still has 4 more years at $7 million.
And you're staring down, you don't know if a suspension is coming, right? So here's the thing, like where
and he filed for bankruptcy.
That would be nuts.
Where
he
like
did file for bankruptcy.
He did file for bankruptcy
back in January. I think it was like $28 million.
That's right.
Yeah, so he's because I was thinking of him because is it Seth Jones who has the problem with his family who stole all his money? He was a defenseman on the Blue Jackets. I want to say it was Seth Jones. Maybe it wasn't, but somebody on the Blue Jackets. He was a defenseman and it was because it was about the Flyers getting this guy. And this was years ago, but his family stole all his money, so he filed for bankruptcy, and then obviously Evander Kane. I mean, it was $27 million in debt. How much at the bookies?
Yeah, I mean, all the red flags are there, and if I didn't even realize he filed for bankruptcy. So if he did, I mean that's a gigantic red flag. Like that's
I mean, it points in a direction, and that's whether he bet on hockey or not. It points in a direction, and
his wife, baby mama, whatever you want to call her now, she even said she didn't have he didn't give her money for baby food and all that stuff. And I mean, who knows exactly how truthful all that is, but it's just that's not good, man. That's a lot of smoke. So there's probably a fire.
I just don't understand how someone like Evander Kane isn't willing to buy milk. Like what?
Isn't willing to what?
Like you're saying, if he wasn't giving his wife money for,
she claims that
taking care of the kid
for basic needs, not even just taking care of, basic need things. That's her claim.
Yeah,
it's milk and diapers and
that was just crazy, dude. All you have to do is walk into Target and say, "I'm Evander Kane. I will do a spot for you for 10 seconds," and they'll be like, "All right, go get your diapers and formula."
I mean, Griff, you know what it's like living in a mansion and then, making sure everyone's taken care of.
I love it.
When we have your first pool party, who's how many butlers will you have? 3 or 4?
Cannonball. I'm definitely walking in and going, I'm kind of a big deal here.
I'll cannonball. I'll knock all the goddamn water out of the pool.
God, I hope you wear a Speedo.
No, the side sling Speedo.
Oh,
DeAndre the Giant look.
Our audience is going to be changing drastically.
Oh yeah, we're gonna go from 3 to 0, and all those looks are going away.
No, and then it's going to go 3 to 0, and then we're going to be like, holy shit, we have 40.
But yeah, like that, if that's all true, it's not even. It's just a disgrace. It's a disgrace as a human being. Not even. Dude, you want to gamble, whatever. Dude, it's your free. That's your right. It's on your phone. It's easy. But to not want to take care of your kids for basic stuff, you don't like your wife. That's fine. You obviously didn't hit her, so that's a good thing. But take care of your kids.
It's a pretty low bar.
It's a low bar, and just because we haven't heard it doesn't make it true.
I just don't understand. I just don't understand as an athlete. Don't.
It has nothing to do with it. Just
and don't
as
smack
a
woman.
Just as a man, you take care of your family. It doesn't matter where your financial what your financial situation is. You take care of your family. The kid can't take care of itself.
Right.
So
you're absolutely right.
While we're down on this road, I will say, in fairness to Evander Kane, he denies these things. we have to say basically, according to the estranged wife's account, this is what's going on, but he denies those things. Here's the thing: is it's going to be a slow trickle of information. This is going to be an ugly divorce, and it's going to be a trickle of information. It's not going to be good for him. It's not going to be good for the Sharks. It's not going to be good for his daughter when she grows up either. I think it's his daughter.
Nope.
No, it's her son.
Yeah, it's his daughter, I think.
It's not going to be good for her when she grows up because this stuff's going to live forever. So, in all fairness to everybody, he put out a lengthy statement where he denied it, where he was trying to make every effort, but, he was being stonewalled. I don't, I'm not there. We're going to have to wait and see. I think that, I'm in agreement with you guys that sometimes where there's smoke, there's fire. That's literally why we get smoke, but, and there's a lot of smoke out there. And, I think that we're going to be getting, this is going to go to an ugly public divorce, uglier the where it is.
I said, I don't like gambling. That being said, I will put $20 on Saravalli breaking whatever news comes out.
Like a draft pick.
Yeah, since he's the expansion draft ruiner, he's going to be and with him, he's not tied to any major studio or anything like that. So, he doesn't have the handcuffs that some of the other guys have.
Yeah, I mean, shams of the NHL.
Yeah, there's always three sides to every story. Their side, your side, and the truth. And unfortunately, this is going to linger over his career. And he said,
it's got a 50% chance of ending his career, Chris.
well, right. I mean, if he's gambled, he's done. But he filed for bankruptcy, so that could also make the woman feel like that she's owed something because even though he blew all that money, she could be like, well, "Where's mine?" He's like, "Well, you're not getting."
Here's the other thing, by her coming out with this, you're jeopardizing whatever money you may get at some point. So one way to look at it is she wouldn't risk any potential income for herself if there was any income.
Yeah, but I think marriages and divorces,
what's the saying? Hell
hath no fury.
Hell has no fury.
Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned.
Like a woman scorned, yeah. So, yeah, that don't piss off the missus. I know I got some stories about my wife I'm not going to share on here.
No, we don't want to be talking about you in an ugly divorce. Asking if I've got a spare bedroom.
No, I got places to stay. Here, and I could probably sleep at work. I'm sure Scott will have me. I know Andrew will have me, but yeah, I'm not going up there.
Yeah, fair enough. So again, we're in a slow point in the season. We're in a slow point of everything going on. I feel like we probably won't be picking up much information. There's not going to, barring whatever happens with Eichel.
You mean barring the Provorov, Coots, four first-round picks to Buffalo for Eichel so he can have his surgery?
Yeah, I think that's the last domino. I don't think that there's that much else that's going to happen between now and the start of camp.
By the way, speaking of Eichel, do you realize the Sabres have final say on his surgery?
I have seen.
That's crazy. I listened to the 32 Thoughts podcast, and they had Eichel's doctor on, and the one that wants to do the spine, the replacement surgery, not the fusion. And I mean, to me, it's a no-brainer. I mean, the replacement surgery, he basically has his recovery time is 6 to 12 weeks, whereas fusion and 6 to 12 weeks and barring any unforeseen issues, he has full mobility and everything like that. Whereas the fusion, it can be up to 9 months, and you're not getting the same player back because you're fusing the spine. So I think that's crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah. I mean, you figure training camp's got to be starting soon. The first preseason game is September 12th.
Yeah, so
you got to figure August 16th, maybe August 23rd. You got to figure, give yourself like that.
Well, I think
2 weeks.
when
Because I'm trying to find a schedule. I don't see like anything about when training camp's got to start.
when Eichel's camp released that statement, a week and a half ago now, that was if he had his surgery like that day, the start of camp was at his earliest possible time to come back, which was like 6 weeks. So that's the reason why they were getting very, very frustrated with this.
yeah, things got to start moving.
The human right to choice, to choose what kind of surgery you have. Like, no pro team should have that ability. I mean, at the end of the day, he can choose to have whatever surgery. He just voids his contract.
I feel like it should be something to the effect of like you have a certain amount of time, like to negotiate or whatever you have to do about the treatment. Because there's times where your own doctor and the like team doctor disagree,
Yep.
and there should have to be to have right of first refusal for someone's long-term health. Right. Like what if to Eichel, if you're Jack Eichel, what if it's like, well, geez, if I don't get this surgery, the rest of my life is affected. I know that now. And a team only cares about you through the end of your contract. It's a conflict of interest.
And with the fusion surgery, it's like a 25% chance of a second surgery in 10 years and long-term physical effects later on in life. But only because the Sabres don't want to have the first NHL player to have the replacement surgery done, which boggles my mind.
It's got to be somebody.
Yep. Got to be a first.
Yep.
I never want to be first. I'm never sticking my toes in the water first.
No, but I also don't have $10 million a year. So other than that, I don't know what else, there is to kind of dig up here. We'll discuss if we feel as divisional ranks.
Oh yeah, the rankings.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about those awesome ones. Let's bring that up. Let's go. Who posted it? So we can shred the shit out of them.
It looks like it's Architects Hockey, Bryce Cavalier, powered by Instat Hockey. So they're way too early. Initial standings and projections. Metro Division.
Who did it? Bryce Cavalier?
Bryce Chevalier, maybe it's. If you're looking at Twitter, it's Faux Center. FAUXCENTRE. Looks like he's affiliated with architectshockey.com.
Okay.
And Instat Hockey.
So he's got, let me guess, the Caps win the division?
Caps win the division. Number 2, Pittsburgh. Number 3, the Devils. Number 4, the Rangers. Number 5, the Flyers. Number 6, the Islanders. Number 7, Carolina. And
he's got
8,
the Islanders in 6th place.
Yeah.
The team that was a goal and a half, 2 goals away from going to the Cup Finals.
6th place.
Okay.
And the Columbus Vortex at 8.
Wait. All right, so when we were talking about it, I wasn't really paying attention. So he's got the Flyers at 5th, who revamped their whole team. And he's got the Islanders at 6th, who, to my knowledge, didn't lose anybody significantly.
Oh, this is like last year when the Rangers were going to win the Cup last year, remember? Or 2 years ago when the Devils were going to win a division.
And what did the Devils do?
I mean, Doug Hamilton's a good addition. Bernier's a really good addition.
Yeah, but I feel like the Islanders and the Flyers right now are just built better. They're built differently.
The Devils,
but kind of the same.
The Devils should not be ahead of them at all. Period. They're
What
too
about
young.
Pittsburgh?
The fact that the Islanders are six it just says like just take that list and rip it up and put it back in your back pocket.
Who's stopping pucks for Pittsburgh? You're bringing back Tristan Jarry again. Like, I just don't see it.
So my opinion when it comes to Pittsburgh is Ron Hextall sees that window going like this.
Yep. No, I agree. And if I'm not mistaken, they don't even know if Malkin going to be ready for the season. Because I
think that the leadership of that team sees the window that way. It's not just that's why they brought Hextall in.
Yeah, they wanted a kick at the can. They wanted another kick at the can, but
last year, yeah.
Well, and this year, but wanted to do it the right way and try to recoup some of their draft picks and get some prospects and all that. What Hexy's good at. So
right, but it just like Malcolm hurt his knee, and they've already said he's not going to be ready for training camp. So the fact that he got the Islanders, I feel like that's someone who just looks at names, looks at teams and said, all right, I'm going to put them there. I'm going to put them there. The Islanders have never been good in the last 20 years. The Flyers, all right, we saw how bad they were last year because they were always in the news for giving up like 16 straight goals to the Rangers. And then, it just doesn't make sense. Like that list makes zero sense. Like, show me your work. Like when we sit there and we tell kids when they got to do math and we'd say, show your work. Explain to me.
Seems like you follow the driveway athletes.
Right. Explain it to me like I'm a 5-year-old. Explain it.
You got to show that work like it's ninth grade algebra.
Right. Show me why you had the Flyers 5th and why you had the Islanders 6th. The fact that you have the Islanders under the Flyers just says a lot.
Under the Devils, under the Rangers. Like
I'm not even going to give the Devils and the Rangers that time of day. The fact that he's got them under the Flyers, and listen, we're all Flyers fans. We know how bad the Flyers were last year. The Islanders shouldn't be 6th, and they shouldn't be below the Flyers, let alone the Rangers and the Devils. But below the Flyers, again, we know how bad the Flyers were, and it's like that's someone who just put out a post for guys like us to talk about how much of an idiot that guy is. I'm sorry.
Some of it's that, but also you forget some of it is people sometimes make these ranks based on names, and Dougie Hamilton is a sexier move than Ristolainen. I think that's fair. It's fair to say we may disagree.
No.
But it's a sexier move. The Rangers still have Panarin, right? Crosby is still in Pittsburgh. The Caps re-sign Ovechkin. When someone makes that list, my opinion is they're making it based on those things, not on a team.
Yeah, I mean,
because we obviously look at how the Flyers and how there was accountability last year, and they signed 4 former guys who were the A or the C. We now know as a fan base, and that AV is going to hold these guys accountable. We know this is going to happen. And if it doesn't, someone has to get fired. But we know this because we follow the Flyers. But the fact that there's...
I just don't understand if the Islanders, they've been in the conference finals the last 2 years. There's a reason for that. They're really good. And
they're well coached.
And they're not... Lou is very, Lamoriello is awesome at building teams and building them in a certain way, and you don't hear anything out of that. I'm not saying the Flyers have a loose ship, but the Islanders have the tightest goddamn ship. I just don't. I don't see how you don't have the Islanders in the top 3 in the division. I'm not saying they're clear division winners because they haven't won a division. And
they'd be just as much in the conversation as the Caps, right? That's my opinion. If you were
you can't have them out of the top 3 in my eyes. I think it's really because the Caps have continuously done it, especially in the regular season. It's the Caps are going to finish to pick. You're picking the Caps to finish in the top 2 or 3, and the Islanders in the top 2 or 3. Everyone else, you can make a case for here or there. I mean, I don't think the Devils are far enough along to beat the Flyers out in the standings. But I guess Jack Hughes could take a huge jump. Sheer being healthy this year might be a huge thing, and Hamilton and the goaltending could be really good. And they picked up Ryan Graves. They're definitely better than they were last year. And the Rangers, I mean, I have huge question marks about the Rangers, and I just they could be good. There's a whole bunch of variables with all the other teams, so that's all opinions. But to have the Islanders in 6th place and missing the playoffs is just bonkers.
It's comical.
Yeah. Yep. Because, and to be honest, as long as the Flyers make the playoffs, to me that's all that matters. Because the division's really tough. It's a really tough division, and Carolina's no joke. Carolina's good. I think they're better. I don't think they're as good as they were last year with who they lost, and they made some real questionable decisions in that. But they're still good. They're still a good team. So you're gonna have 2 good teams miss the playoffs. A good team and teams with talent that are talented teams miss the playoffs. So we don't have any Buffaloes in our division.
No,
we don't play Buffalo 18 times this year.
Yeah. So on that note, guys, if you don't have anything else, I've got to get going. If you do, I'm going to bow out.
No, we're good.
Okay. All right. So, guys, I'm going to go ahead and put the overlay for the Philly Sports Alliance show lineup, and as I do every week. So you don't have to stare at our beautiful mugs. Today is Thursday, so Tables, Ladders, and Chairs will be on after us. After that, you got Monday for the Football Smack Talk show at 6 p.m. Diamond Club podcast. Chris, that is you. 7:30.
7:30. Yep.
Tuesday, the Philly Broadcast, 6:30. Wednesday, Bald Eagle. That was last night, 6 o'clock. Wednesday at 8 o'clock is Mike Sports. That's the lineup for the Philly Sports Alliance. We are awaiting that 76er show. And we are awaiting the yet to be named mixed martial arts show. So keep your eye out for those to be added to the lineup. Otherwise, guys, we are here every Thursday at 5:30 p.m. Thanks for sticking it out this long. See you next week.